Hi. I wanted to talk a little bit today about intuition and as it pertains to animal communication. My whole journey down this path of energy work and the Reiki and the acupressure, and it all started with animal communication. I had known a person on TV. You probably maybe heard her name, the Pet Psychic. I used to watch it and go, wow, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to hear what the animals around you were saying. Being an animal fanatic, I thought that would be just like, that's heaven. But I assumed that this was a gift of some type, that this person could do this. And then through many different instances that occurred, I realized that people could learn this, or maybe they once knew it and they could recall it. I don't know how or where it really started, and I think there's different people. I think there are different people who talk about being able to communicate with animals when they were really little. And I mean that in a sense of being able to get some feedback from the animal. Or there are people such as myself where I really had to work and learn and practice this to be able to do it. I think it's an ability which is within people, and we can do this. So on my venture, and this is going to take, I'm guessing, several videos for us to cover it, but on my venture, it was telling myself, A, that it could happen, believe that it could happen, to be present when I was with an animal that I was trying to communicate in some way with, and then believing the things that came through to me. Because the hardest part for me was that your mind, you're used to thinking certain things. Like you'd say, oh, the dog's hot, because you see that the dog is hot. So that there's a common sense and a logic there. And I almost really needed to hear something that was completely out of my normal realm of thinking to go, where did that come from? And that had to happen a lot for me to believe that this was possible. But you became very open to little bleepits or little pictures, because we all receive information in different ways. So your animal communication style might be that you see pictures when you're with an animal, or maybe you can actually hear the animal, or sometimes it's a sense of knowing. And we have to find out who we are intuitively to then say, okay, this is how I get things. So this is what I get from an animal. Or it might be that you're standing next to an animal and a part of your body hurts because that animal also has maybe stomach pain, and so your stomach hurts. And I have a story that once where, and this was after I've been doing it for a while, but just to show you something of how it came to me, and I'll share many more stories along the way, but there was a horse who was obviously very uncomfortable, and the vet had looked at her, and I was standing in front of her pen, and my stomach was hurting, and I thought, why is my stomach hurting? And I went and I walked away, not even relating the stomach pain to the horse at that point in time, and I realized my stomach felt fine. And I came back and I stood in front of the horse's pen again, and there was intense stomach pain, and I went, oh, this was about that horse. That was her telling me that she was uncomfortable. So at that point I could do what I needed to do, and she was already being treated by a vet on her discomfort. So sometimes it'll come through that way. Sometimes, especially those who are more empath in nature, you can feel the emotions of things around you. So you'll feel the sadness from an animal, or you'll feel the joy from an animal. You might walk up and say, this animal is so happy I can't even stand it. And I remember having that same situation with the foal that was turned out. It was like, oh my goodness, life is good. That too. But when things come to you quickly and unexpectedly, and it's a little bleepit of a picture, for me anyway, it was just really quick, and something that would be easy to discount, to really take it in and pay attention to it and write all those things down, and pretty soon those become greater pictures and you can see things more. Or you'll see the animal the animal will do some action that they typically don't do. If you know them, they will kick at their stomach because their stomach's bothering them, or they'll keep biting at a leg because that leg is bothering them. To take note of those things too. And yes, they're physically doing something, but they might do something during that moment that they wouldn't have done at a different time, because they also understand you and what you're thinking, what you're trying to do. It's a two-way street. It's not just the human. It's the human and the animal. There's so many more conversations about this and so many stories about this, but I hope you'll try, and I hope you'll start writing down little things and realize you don't turn into Dr. Doolittle overnight. You have to work and you have to practice. I have some wonderful stories that I will share on a different day. Practice. Bye.